Today I'm going to be talking about the importance of visual mathematics. First, what do you think about when you hear the word mathematics? Maybe you think about symbols. Maybe you think about numbers. Maybe you think about equations, memorization. Do you ever think about using visuals in math? Have you ever used visuals in math? For students, using visuals in math enhances student understanding and learning in mathematics. So today we're going to talk about the relationship between the brain and using visuals, finger representation, visuals in the classroom, and different visual math activities. Starting with the brain, our brain is made up of distributed networks. When we handle knowledge, different areas of the brain light up and communicate with each other. When we do math, brain activity is spread across a widely distributed network, which includes the two visual pathways. There is the ventral visual pathway, which is the orange over here, and there is the dorsal visual pathway, which is the green. The dorsal pathway has been shown to be involved when children and adults do math tasks, particularly visual and spatial representation of quantities, like a number line. As children get older, they develop part of the ventral visual pathway, which is representing visual numbers. When children learn and develop, the brain becomes more interactive, connecting the visual processing of symbolic number forms, such as the number 10, with visuospatial knowledge of quantity, such as an array of dots or another visual representation. Different parts of the brain are involved with thinking mathematically. So next we're going to talk about counting fingers and math success. Many teachers are led to believe counting fingers is babyish or to be moved on from as quickly as possible. But researchers point out that number counting on fingers is important for brain development and future mathematics success. There is actually a specific region of the brain dedicated to the perception and representation of fingers, known as the somatosensory finger area of the brain. Researchers knew that we see a representation of our fingers in our brain even when we are not using our fingers for calculation. So with this knowledge, schools should help children discriminate between their fingers. Brian Butterworth, leading brain researcher, states, if students are not learning about numbers for thinking about their fingers, numbers will never have normal representation in the brain. This is an example of a finger activity called finger maze. And it helps children build finger differentiation, which is important for developing numerical understanding. So each child puts a colored dot on each finger, and then they use that finger and correspond it to the colored line and trace it. And there are more finger activities at ucube.com, like this one. So there is more to visual mathematics than finger representation. We can use visuals to solve word problems. And looking at a first grade classroom and learning place value, which can be challenging to teach, I found an example lesson where the teacher did great using visuals. So this is an example of the word problem. In science class, Vanessa blew 7 bubbles, Ernesto blew 8, and Jesus blew 3 more bubbles into the air. How many bubbles did they blow altogether? As adults, we may think this is easy, just add up the numbers. But in first grade, it would be beneficial to add a visual to help them. So the teacher wrote the numbers on the whiteboard. Under each number, she placed a small piece of paper with a printed pen frame, and then placed colored magnets to represent each number. So she used a pen frame, kind of like this one, except this is not the exact picture of the one she used. And then the students were asked to think about the problem, and then they shared with a partner their thinking. And the teacher walked around while they're with their partner, hearing the different ways students solved the problem. Then the students were called to the board to share. They used the counters and explained their thinking. And one student used a number line along with the pen frame. And again, this is not the same number line. And other students solved the problem a different way and shared. So using The teacher used counters and visuals to help students make sense of the problem. She also encouraged multiple methods for solving the problem. Using visuals can help students solve abstract problems, and it facilitates higher level thinking, encourages communication, and helps people see the creativity in mathematics. Some other visuals that can be used in the classroom is one could be drawing, that students can use drawing to help them solve their problem. Maybe draw some pictures to help them. And manipulative. For example, base 10 blocks, pattern shapes, counters, snap cubes. All of these could be incorporated into math problems to help them solve, make it easier. And these manipulatives and all these strategies can be used with older children as well, not just the young primary grades. And I chose two visual mathematic activities to share. The first one is called Snap It, which is the picture right here, that the students are put in groups and each of them builds a train of snap cubes, and everyone has the same number in their train. And when someone says snap it, they snap their snap cube train in half somewhere, and one half goes behind the back. And then the other students have to guess by looking at the person's snap cubes the number combination that they have. See how many is behind their back. This is a good visual to help them with their addition and subtraction. The second visual math activity is how close to 100, which is this one. This helps with multiplication using visuals. That the students would have a pair of dice, they would roll the dice, and whatever numbers are on the dice, they shade in those numbers. So, in conclusion, visual learning uses multiple parts of the brain. Counting fingers leads to success in math. There are many different ways we can use visuals and manipulatives in math. And lastly, visuals can make math more exciting and understandable. And these are my references.